Hi there everybody, today we are looking at trigonometry and finding missing angles. Alright, so in order to find an angle we need to use the inverse function of your calculator. Now if you've never done this one before, then I really suggest you have a calculator to hand so you can familiarise yourself with which buttons to press and when to press them. Okay, so what we've got is again a right angle triangle as you would expect for trigonometry, and obviously a piece of information. Alright, the only way this is going to work if it's a right angle triangle, and B, you have two sides. Okay, so when we're looking to find x, first things first, I need to identify the sides that I've currently got in relation to the angle. Well, this one is the opposite and this one is the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's get those two sorted so we know which two sides we're working with. Then we've got to identify which function we're going to use. Is it sine, cos or tan? All right, so how much you've remembered or retained the use of SOHCAHTOA, I'm not sure. All right, but SO8 is the one that comes at first, and that's the one that involves O and H, which is what we've got. So it's sin. All right, so sin. Okay, so we're writing that out, and then I've got sin x, all right, equals opposite of hypotenuse. All right, so now putting the numbers in that you've currently got, you've got sin x is equal to 14 over 25. All right, and when I do 14 divided by 25, I've got 0.56. All right, and that is sin x. Okay, not x, sin x. So this is where the idea of using your inverse function on your calculator, because what I want to do is I want to do the inverse of sin. All right, you can't divide by sin. It doesn't work. It doesn't exist. It's the inverse function. All right, so in your calculator, you are looking for this little button, which is sin to the minus 1. All right, that is the inverse function. All right, so x is equal to the inverse of sin of whatever this answer was here, 0.56. Okay, it's normally a shift sin, to be honest. So have a look, or second function sin, but I need to get that one, 0.56, and then press equals, and it's going to give me angle as 34.06. All right, so please check your calculator that it's doing that. If you're not getting this after putting this in, then obviously you need to familiarise yourself with your calculator and make sure that it says D at the top of your calculator. All right, make sure that it's working in degrees. If it says G or R, then you need to change it and try and get it into degrees. All right, obviously every calculator is slightly different, so please make sure or speak to a teacher or somebody else in terms of trying to make sure you can get that changed to a D. It has to be in degrees, certainly at GCSE level. All right, so let's have another look at another example. So here we've got another one, so slightly turned around, so still trying to find x. So in relation to this angle, this one is the adjacent and this one is the hypotenuse. All right, so labeling those two, so that's A and H. So trying to determine which function to use. All right, so which one involves A and H? Well, that's car, so that's cos. So car, so that's cos equals adjacent of hypotenuse. All right, so that's what you've got, and then we're going to put the numbers in. All right, so cos x is equal to 20 over 47. So 20 over 47 is 0.4255. And then you are going to put in your calculator shift cos, or cos to the minus 1 of 0.425 to figure out what x is, and therefore you get 64.82 degrees. Okay, so that is finding angles, missing angles with trigonometry. All right, so please do go to maths-school.co.uk. Link is at the bottom of the page as normal to have some additional practice at it. But of course, please feel free to come back and look at the video whenever you feel you need to. Thanks for listening.